So, with girls now, I think there's a real thing going on with social media and also body image. Do you think that affects people's confidence worse?
I think social media has a big part to play in girls' confidence. I had all of the social media. I had Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and it got to a point where I became fed up of seeing other people's body images and other people's lives. I got so invested in what other people were doing. I wasn't actually living my life. I'd find myself at uni on Instagram, on Facebook, on Snapchat, and in the end I decided I would delete it because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And especially with all of the filters now, like Snapchat provide and Instagram, I felt that I was only ever using them filters to cover up my face. And I Snapchatted one of my friends one day and he said, "Why do you always have a filter on your face?" And it got to the point where I was like, actually, that's true. Until one night we went out and I did a filter without it and I was like, it doesn't look right. Like,
so what were
I'm
these
not
filters
confident.
doing to your face?
They make them look thinner.
It's like thinner,
They
yeah,
put like
more defined
you
makeup.
can have you get more makeup on. They like make your skin flawless.
Oh, you're kidding
They just
me.
make you
Yeah,
look.
it changes the colour a little bit as well.
It changes
Like,
everything about
everything's
your
just completely
face.
smoothed out. It's basically Photoshop.
Yeah, but just a filter that's like a live filter on your face.
Oh my goodness.
And
No.
it was until we pointed out, I was like, actually, I do it all the time. Like, I need to stop. So I stopped doing it, and then I was like, I don't feel comfortable with sending pictures to people without these filters or whatever. So
But
I just
what does that
deleted it.
say about how you feel about your own face?
But I
You
don't
know,
like
no. Well, it's interesting because anybody looking at this would go, "Well, you're a fantastic-looking girl. So why on earth would you change your face?"
I think it's something that society is imprinted on females. I've kept my Instagram account because I don't want to be so out of it. I want some sort of social media because I don't want to feel so out of the loop of what everyone's doing. But Facebook, I couldn't care what other people were posting about on Facebook, what they were doing. I just like Instagram.
Were you on social media, Sophia?
I wasn't on social media. My mum kept me away from it until I was graduated. I left school, so it would have been started college. I would have been about 15, 16. Yeah, I think it was about my 16th birthday I got social media, and then I had Facebook, started Instagram, and then I couldn't get Snapchat until later because of the phone I had. So actually I couldn't get social media even if I did want it. So by the time I actually had everything, I started uni. So I was kind of already like, I'm not invested in it. Like, I've got it all, but I don't use any of it. Like, it's really rare if I post, and if I do post, it's normally like my family or something like that. And I'm like, the only reason I like social media is so I can stay in contact with people who I've lost contact with, or who like they might have moved to a different part of the country or something like that. So it's, for me, it's not like, and I only follow people who I like, you know, particularly like, or like we're really close with. I don't follow someone who's like, oh, I've met you at a party. Like, they can follow me, but I'm not gonna necessarily follow them back because it just, not that I don't have an interest in what they're doing, but I don't want to fall into the trap of what a lot of people have done and start referencing to them all the time and comparing.
So have you ever had an incident where you've gone, "Oh my goodness, I can't believe this," or it's somebody else's post, or you know, you've put something on, you've gone, "Oh, I can't believe I did that," and you look back and regret?
I mean, there's a lot I do see on social media still, and a lot of younger girls especially, but even like older girls, because they're setting the example of that with all the makeup and clothing and stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of, you know, wear makeup for yourself and dress how you want to dress, but there's a certain element that it depends how much you want to put on the internet. It doesn't faze me. I don't know, I think I'm quite an open person, but I know a lot of people would be like, why would you do that? Like, save that for, like, you know, like the bedroom or something like that. It's not appropriate for online.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that respect, it doesn't really get to me. Like, if I was to post, I don't even post photos really. Like, if it is of my face, I don't tend to have a filter on it. But then I've never been into makeup or anything, or I don't know. I don't know. I think it's the way I was just brought up. I have a sister. She's younger, but she's not into any of that either. She's a tomboy. My brother is as, you know, as boyish as you can get. And then My mum was a tomboy as well, so I'm the only one who's probably like a girly girl in my family, and even that compared to other girls.
So do you think that you haven't been affected negatively in terms of confidence because of that, in the sense that, you know, you were saying it had an influence on you to the point where you had to cut it out? So do you think there's a lot of girls who are being influenced in a bad way where their confidence is being destroyed by it?
Yeah, I mean,
100%.
there's limits on social media, isn't there? Like, as in what age you should join. But people do join younger than that. And I mean, I did not like my mum for not letting me have social media.
No, I
like,
didn't either.
Throughout secondary school, I was like, everyone was on it and everyone was talking about it. And like, I just didn't have it. So I was so out of that. But I'm so glad she did it. Because I would have fallen into it and I would have hated myself.
Had Facebook at 13, I think. My mum let me have it, but she had all my passwords and stuff. And I hated her for it because obviously she was going through my messages and stuff, which now I'm quite thankful she did do, because I would do it to my kids, I think. But then I hated her guts for it because I was like, why are you going through my social media?
And yet you were only 13. When you think about that, you're still
so
a
young.
child.
Yeah.
And, you know, your parents are only there to try and protect what you're doing. And when you're that age, you don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I have heard stories of people saying, you know, they went to a club and a friend saw her boyfriend getting with somebody else and was really deeply upset in the loo and crying, and then the next morning getting a post on Facebook going, best night of my life, you know. And so in other words, it's all rubbish.
People only put their good things on Facebook as well, and I think it's if you're going through like a rough time and you're like, oh, how come everyone else's lives are so perfect? But it's only because they only post the best things that happen to them. They don't post their worst times, and I think it's just
so why does nobody post on the bad stuff?
Because then you're
they want
perfect and you ruin
they
that
want
vision
to
of
show
yourself.
people how
Because you
perfect their
create
lives
who
are.
you want to be on social media. That's like an online you. So
And that's
you wouldn't
why-
want to, you know, baden your name on there.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's why mine's gone now, because I don't need to impress anyone.
So do you think when you start gaining in confidence, which you clearly have, by doing that, that's a gain, because you were brave enough to say, I don't need this because this is actually wearing on my confidence rather than the other?
Yeah, and I feel like if I was scrolling through Facebook and I'm seeing images of other people, I feel like it made me more of a bitch, because I would constantly be judging them.
Make little comments.
And you make little comments in your head like, oh, why I don't like that, and then you look back and you think, actually, I'm just as bad as
That's
everyone else.
interesting. So tell me about girls and bitchiness and wearing on each other's confidence, and is that still happening?
I think it's a thing.
Yeah.
Girls tend to be a lot more. I think because you're so critical of yourself as a girl.
Yeah.
I think you're then really critical of other girls, like subconsciously rather than consciously, and it's just like snide comments, and then girls tend to gossip, and then that gets back to you, and then I don't think people tend to do it in a hurtful way. They're just like, oh, so and so said this, and then it's like, well, now you can't stop thinking of it. But
then online, they bitch online, don't they? Or do you see much of that?
I don't think I've experienced it online. I know there is the whole thing with like people trolling people online, but I don't actually know anyone who has had that happen to them, or they've done it to anyone else, as far as I know of anyway.
So do you? So even if you didn't like something that somebody posted, you'd go, like, it's cool.
No,
I started to steer away from that before I deleted my Facebook, because I didn't want people going, oh, she liked that. That means she's a bit of a bitch, or she's funny with that other person. I sort of toned down by not using it but still having it and scrolling through other people's lives, and then it got to the point where I was like, I'm not interested in other people's lives.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a constant reminder of other people having this so-called, as you say, the perfect life, when we all know we don't have perfect lives. The reality is there's no such thing. Everybody has ups and downs, and everybody has ups and downs in how they feel about themselves or whatever. So why would we put ourselves through that?
I don't know. That's the answer to that. I don't know. I don't know why people do it, but.
And you touched upon the whole perfectionism thing of girls wanting to be perfect. Where do you think that all comes from?
I don't know if that's so down to for me, it's down to the person. That's just who I am. For others, I think if you're starting to compare yourself, you're gonna want to do what's normal, what's on trend, and things like that. But like personally, I'm lucky in that it hasn't ever affected me or like my sister. So it's not as close to home as a subject as it is for other people.
Well, if you
Sorry, I
were
completely forgot the question.
no, if you were to advise young women now coming up and younger than you, and say what would you avoid to save yourself from feeling this lack of confidence over things that don't even exist, what would you say?
Oh, I don't know, because it's down to you. It's not anyone
Yeah.
else.
And I think it's down to what you lack confidence in as well. Like, I lack confidence in my body image, and I know a lot of other people do as well, but I lack it in the sense that people who are a little bit overweight or are not happy with them in that sense, like, I'm the opposite, as in I eat whatever I want. I've never checked calories on anything, but my metabolism's so fast that I don't put on any weight at all. And I feel like it's just the same as if someone was to call you fat. It's the same. It has the same effect as being called skinny. And I think that has something to do with my confidence as well, because I hate how small I am.
Yeah, but a lot of models would be, they'd be starving themselves to be like you and keep up that thing, because that's what the media have portrayed, is that, particularly in the modelling world, that, women are so skinny. But you only have to go to a dressing room in the gym and realise we're all kind of odd-shaped and, odd-shaped, normal-shaped. Actually, there's such a diversity out there, so why should we try and be uniform? Because nobody is.
I do think it is all down to the person. Social media obviously doesn't help at all, and I think if you can
Social
get
media
away from
doesn't
it,
help. I think
get
it
away from
lowers
it.
everyone's confidence, I think.
Yeah, I just think,
especially if you follow certain things on Instagram, like bodybuilding, or you just look at them and think, how are they so perfect? And then you look at yourself and think, I'm all right.
Yeah, and I have to give you some advice. The older you get, you go, actually, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
You start to think, when you look back, when you were the skinniest you were ever going to be in your life, and you were still going, oh God, but you can see that little bulge there or there. And then you realise, you might be way heavier than you were then. You say, actually, I'm not doing too badly. So that's my advice. It gets better.
My advice would genuinely be delete social media, because I've seen a massive change in myself as well. Instead of picking up my phone, I'm actually going to do something else. Like, I'm not worried about checking it constantly. I think my confidence has risen since I've deleted my social media. Anyway.
Because you're spending more time on useful things that are actually getting you
instead
further
of judging
into what you want to do.
people. And that would be my advice anyway. I know it's quite hard for people to do it, because I found it quite hard at first. I was like, oh, I wonder what everyone's doing. But now I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah, because you're busy doing other things. And
Useful,
on that
productive
note,
things.
thank you very much.
Thanks.